thank you for the invitation and also for accommodating me in terms of time and kind of slightly preponing this talk. I'm going to be talking about the newer aspect of the LDL-C variability, that means the LDL-C control. We all know that we need to control our LDL, we need to go to a lower and lower target, so there's nothing new about that. But the kind of slightly newer aspect of the LDL control is the LDL variability. So what is LDL variability? We know that if we just routinely follow up our patients and we do their LDL levels, then there are long-term fluctuations and visit-to-visit changes in the fasting LDL-C levels. Now these changes are associated with atheroma progression, and they can predict actually the future coronary and cardiovascular events. So how do we measure the LDL variability? So there are various statistical ways of doing that. So one is the standard deviation of the LDL-C levels, the average successive variability, that means from one visit to another, so you keep on measuring the every visit variability and do an average, the coefficient of variation or variability independent of the mean. I mean, although this sounds a little complex, but the basic fact is that if you just look at the variation of LDL, that's good enough. So the LDL variability is associated with increased risk of cardiovascular disease. There is a highest VMI quintile for LDL-C has a 18% higher risk of cardiovascular disease, and there is a 34% increased risk of MI and 19% increased risk of all-cause mortality. If you look at the various complications or various outcome related issues with LDL variability, then there is a 42% higher risk for all-cause mortality, 33% increased risk for non-fatal stroke, and 41% higher risk for non-fatal MI. So overall risk may increase by about 34%. So why is the LDL variability important in terms of prognosis or outcomes? Because we know that circulating LDL particles penetrate the endothelium and then become oxidized, which promotes inflammation, which causes then endothelial injury. So the high LDL variability, the sudden increase or change in the LDL-C causes sort of sudden penetration of the LDL-C through the endothelium, and therefore affects the plaque stability, leading to plaque vulnerability and rupture, thus causing the higher event rate and overall outcomes. So the importance of LDL-C reduction. So we saw that if you have more variability, you have poor outcomes. So what about if we prevent or reduce the LDL variability? So the LDL variability decrease reduces the event rate by about 22% per millimole. So the absolute level reduction, it decreases by about 22%. But if you have sustained reduction in variability, then you have this 24% reduction in coronary events, 25% in revascularization, and 16% in stroke. And if you have these sustained LDL-C levels, it leads to better cardiovascular outcomes. So if there is a downward trend versus the upward trend, you can see that the steady decrease in LDL-C over a period of time lowers the risk of cardiovascular events compared to either rising levels or fluctuating levels. So the sustained level is more important. So this is from the SWEDAT's registry of early and sustained non-HDL-C levels and the reduction of risk. So you have various scenarios. Scenario 1 where patient doesn't reach the target at any point of time, that means he neither receives the early reduction nor it is sustained. The scenario 2 is where patient reaches the target at early period, that means at 2 months, but is not sustained over 1 year, so it starts rising back. The third scenario is patient doesn't reach the target at all, but over a period of time starts reaching the target and is at target at 1 year. And those who attain the early reduction and also sustain for a period of 1 year. So this study showed that sustained non-HDL-C reduction lowers the cardiovascular risk over 12 years. So the MACE reduction by 24%, all-cause mortality by 15%, and the MI risk is reduced by 31%. So what are the challenges in existing therapies? The challenges are the non-adherence of statin, which probably may explain the variability. And there are various reasons for this non-adherence. So you can have either side effects or perceived side effects. You have refill challenges, which kind of term applicable more to US or other countries. So this is probably not applicable to India. And the patient just simply sometimes forgets and omits the statins. So if you look at the quintiles of association between non-adherence, the likelihood of statin non-adherence was 3.4 times higher for those with largest LDL-C variability. So that means, in short, that the majority of the times the LDL variability was associated with the non-adherence to statins. So what are the challenges in this effective sustained LDL-C reduction with the current therapies? So one is the dosage burden. You know that every night you have to remember to take your tablet, you travel, you go somewhere, you have to take your tablets, you have to make sure that you don't forget about it. The next option is the MABs, where you need 26 injections in a year. And then you have newer options like siRNA, like inclisiran, with only 2 injections in a year. And then maybe in future we have vaccination, where we need occasional boosters, and maybe gene editing, which can be done only once in a lifetime, and that will kind of change the everything, and will probably never have an issue of LDL variability. So we know that the guidelines have been changing, and we know that lower and lower LDL is required in patients with very high risk patients and extremely high risk patients. So we know that the standard targets for even high risk patients is less than 55, or 50% or more reduction, especially in Indian patients where your starting LDL itself is not very high. So even if your starting LDL is not very high, you have to achieve at least 50% reduction from baseline. And we know that in very high risk, extremely high risk patients, the target is now less than 40. So we know that the new therapy of inclisiran, no more very new as such, but has provided us the option of drastically reducing the LDL-C, and we will see about the variability. So this is an 18 study, which is the Asian related study. That means the population was Asian, and at day 330, the number of percentage of patients achieving the LDL targets was nearly 70%. The LDL achieved less than 70 was in more than 80%, and more than 50% reduction in LDL-C was in 71%. As you can see here, and this is consistent across the trials, you have somewhere between 52 to 57% reduction in LDL from baseline in all of the inclisiran studies. So inclisiran delivers sustained LDL-C reduction with minimal variability in long term. So if you look at that graph, I don't think there is anything more to explain, that you not only have a drastic reduction in LDL-C levels, but you also have a very uniform sustained level of LDL-C. And therefore, by just giving this one injection, instead of looking after the non-adherence, various issues of side effects with statins or perceived side effects of statins, you are no more concerned about that. And then you have this perfectly sustained kind of straight line, like, although the graph may look like straight line, it may not be exactly like that, but it is nearly like a straight line. We know that this requires only one in a 6 months injection. So the first dose after 3 months, and then after 6 months. Just to highlight about our perspective in Indian patients, large number of my patients actually do not need the second dose at 3 months or even at 6 months, because many of my patients who have taken the first dose of inclisiran, even at 7 and 8 months, their LDLs are at the level of about 15 or 20 or 24. So good thing about Indian patients is that probably they are able to maintain their LDL-C for a much longer period of time, and therefore probably the cost implications will be kind of in a better way, that we would need less frequency of this injection. So this offers a high adherence. So especially, like I said, that if we need less frequent injection, the adherence will even be better. So 95% of the patients received second dose, 84% received third dose, and 46% reduction was there in LDL-C after the first dose. We know that it has a very good safety profile. The incidence of injection site adverse events are very small. In this study mentioned as 5.9 and 8.2%. However, although our experience is not in huge numbers, but we have not found a single patient having any local injection site problems. So to summarize, LDL variability and visit change of LDL is very important because it is related to the outcomes in terms of cardiovascular risk and cardiovascular events. Not only we need a robust reduction of LDL cholesterol, but we need a very sustained reduction in LDL cholesterol with minimal variability. Many times the non-adherence and various other issues with standard therapies like statin causes increased variability. And with the advantage of inclisiran of not only robust but sustained LDL-C reduction with a convenient dosing and high treatment adherence and good safety profile may provide a good alternative or the better alternative for reducing LDL variability and improving prognosis. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Atul, for excellent talk. Does inclisiran is indicated in ACS patient? Suppose the patient is not want to take statin, then we can give inclisiran or not?
Yeah, I don't think there is any kind of contraindication for using inclisiran, although I am not sure that what percentage of patients in trials received inclisiran immediately after an ACS event. But we have experienced that we have given inclisiran more in ACS patients due to various reasons. One is the acceptance of patient after an event. Second is the coverage in insurance after an event, and therefore our experience is more in ACS situations because patients are taking it immediately after an ACS. Yeah. And the guidelines also suggest that a drastic fast reduction is required in ACS patients than any other subset.
Yeah, so it should be given in ACS or anywhere, it should be given on top of statin plus ezetimibe or other alternate therapy and then inclisiran. But of course, if we are not achieving the goal, then it should be given. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.